The wire clears at 2:47 p.m. Thursday, you are 35. 1 bar of signal, you stand in your kitchen. You read the number 3 times. Your brain refuses. 2.9 billion. You read it again, you set the phone down. You wash a glass. It was already clean. The feeling doesn't show up, the one you've been running toward, your whole life. It doesn't show up. You've been here before. Just never with this much money. You grow up in a house where money isn't discussed. It is managed quietly, carefully, behind closed doors. Your dad drives a refrigerated truck, 4:30 in the morning. He comes home smelling like diesel and cold air. He doesn't complain. Complaining costs something he doesn't have. Your mom works the front desk, 26 hours a week, just under the threshold, the one that triggers benefits. That is not an accident. She is known for years. She never says anything, because saying something means looking at it, and looking at it means deciding what to do. And no version of that conversation ends well. Not on a Tuesday night, not with 2 kids, not with a mortgage 3 years underwater. So the house runs on a system. No name. You learn it by watching. Rent gets paid the 11th, not the 1st. Those 11 days in checking earn something. Not much, but something. The credit card hits 0 every month, not because they understand utilization, because debt feels like a mold. It grows when you are not looking. They've seen what it does to people they know. Groceries happen Wednesday, 2 days before the circular resets. Your mom knows which markdowns hit which days. Which stores. This isn't couponing. This is expertise. Nobody gives you a credential for it. You are 11, you are absorbing all of it. You wear 4 shirts, weekly rotation. You get good at spacing them out, so nobody notices. You don't go to Jordan's birthday party, 6th grade one of those entertainment centers. You pay for everything. Your parents give you $20. You do the math in the car, go-karts, tokens, pizza. The look on your face when you can't afford the next round. So you tell Jordan you have a thing. You don't have a thing. The school trip to Washington, D.C., $340. You never ask, there is food in the fridge. The heat works. Nobody's getting evicted. But there is a permanent low hum, a background frequency of not quite enough. You grow up so used to it. You stop hearing it as sound. It becomes the air. Your dad gets passed over. A supervisor position. He has been doing the job informally for 8 months. The guy they hire has a cousin in regional. Your dad finds out on a Friday. He comes home, eats dinner, watches television, goes to bed. He doesn't throw anything. He doesn't raise his voice. He accepts it. Quiet resignation. A man who learned long ago that the system has its own logic, and that logic was never written with him in mind. You are 16. You watch him do this. Something cracks open in your chest, not anger, something colder, something more useful, because in that moment, sitting across from him, at a table with a wobbly leg, propped up with folded cardboard for 2 years, you see it clearly. The ceiling your family keeps hitting isn't made of talent, or effort or character. It is made of access, of information, of knowing which doors exist before you need to walk through them. And right then, quietly without telling anyone, you decide you are going to learn where the doors are. That decision doesn't feel like a turning point. It feels like a thought after dinner on a Friday night. But it is the whole thing. The decision is easy. The decade that follows is not. You state school, Pell Grant, 2 subsidized loans, $6,800 for the year. Cheapest meal plan, you calculate once what daily coffee would cost. Compounded over 4 years, at a modest return. You never buy a coffee on campus again, not once. Your roommate thinks you are cheap. You don't correct him. Explaining the math would take too long, and you are not sure you could say it, without it sounding like an accusation. You graduate with a logistics degree, 34,000 in debt. You take the first job with health insurance, supply chain coordinator, mid-sized distribution company, outside Columbus, 47,000 a year. You put $200 a month into your 401k. Someone in HR mentions the match. 3%. You are not leaving free money. You share an apartment with 2 people. Your bedroom fits a bed and a desk. Not much else. On weeknights, you stay up until 1 a.m., reading about fleet routing, last mile delivery costs. You've noticed something at work. Nobody above you seems to see it. The gap between what the software does and what it could do. That gap might be a business. You leave at 24 to build it. This is the first time you understand fear in your body, not the low hum from childhood. Something sharper. Something behind your sternum, waking you up at 5 a.m. for no reason. Your savings at leaving. 11,200. By month 8, 3,400 left. One client. Considering canceling, you take a part-time consulting gig to cover rent. You work on the product at night. Weekends. Lunch breaks. Sitting in your car in a parking garage. The consulting office is too loud. Your apartment has no air conditioning. It is July in Ohio. Heat makes it hard to think. You eat a lot of rice not because you can't afford other things. Because the mental energy of deciding what to eat feels like a luxury you can't afford right now. The client doesn't cancel. By year 3, 4 clients. Known employee, a product that works better than anything in your niche. A niche nobody else thought was worth building for. You raise a seed round, 800,000. The wire hits your business account. You stare at it for a long time. Then you go back to work. The number doesn't feel real. The work does. At 28, serious relationship ends. She isn't wrong. You weren't present. She named it clearly, fairly. You didn't have a good argument, because she was right. You take 2 days, then you go back to work. You don't know what else to do with the feeling. And the company needs a series, a deck, finished by Friday. Year 6. You almost run out of runway. Payroll is due Thursday. Bridge funding hasn't cleared. You spend 72 hours making calls, sending emails, sitting very still in a conference room at 7 p.m., waiting for a callback that may not come. It comes at 12:47 a.m. You don't celebrate. You send the payroll file. You sit there in the dark for a while. Then you drive home. At 32, the doubt hits different than it did at 24. At 24, the doubt was loud. Almost energizing. At 32, it is quiet. It sits with you at breakfast. It doesn't argue. It just asks calmly whether the people who stayed were smarter, whether the mortgage, the weekends, the ordinary comfort your old roommate has now, whether that is the more honest answer. You don't have a good response. You just keep going, because stopping now would mean the decade meant nothing, and you are not ready to believe that yet. The acquisition conversation starts in September. A logistics conglomerate in Atlanta. They've been watching your growth for 18 months. Their VP of Corporate Development reaches out. Through a mutual contact. Casual at first, the kind of email written to sound like it isn't what it is. You've been through enough to know exactly what it is. You forward it to your attorney. You wait 3 days to respond, not because you are playing a game, because you've learned. The first person to show urgency in a negotiation is the first person to lose ground. The process takes 5 months, 3 rounds of due diligence, 2 trips to Atlanta, moment in a conference room on the 41st floor. Their lead counsel raises something. It almost collapses the whole deal. You sit very still. You say very little. You let your attorney handle it. That is what you are paying her for. You've stopped performing composure by now. You've actually developed it. The final number is $2.9 billion. Your attorney calls Wednesday evening, confirms the wire schedule. You write the date on a post. Stick it to your monitor. Thursday 2 in the afternoon. Give or take, you cook dinner. That night, pasta. You watch something on television. You won't remember what. You go to sleep at 10:30. You sleep fine, which surprises you later when you think about it. Thursday comes. You are sitting at your desk at 1:55 p.m. You have a call at 3. You haven't canceled it. Canceling felt too much like tempting something. At 2:11 p.m. your phone buzzes. Text from your attorney. 2 words. It cleared. You look at the number in your business account. You look at it for a long time. Your brain does the thing it did when the seed round hit, when the Series A hit, when the first acquisition offer came in. It refuses to process the figure as real. Only this time, it is not 800,000, not 4 million, not 34 million. From the secondary you took 2 years ago. This time it is 2.9 billion, and your brain simply doesn't have the architecture for it. You set the phone down, face up, then face down, you stand up, walk to the kitchen, fill a glass of water, drink it standing at the sink. Looking out the window at the parking lot across the street, a man is loading groceries into an SUV. He is struggling with a bag that is too full. He keeps trying to make it fit. Eventually, he puts 3 things in a separate bag, closes the trunk. He has no idea what just happened in your kitchen. The parking lot doesn't know. The building across the street doesn't know. The city doesn't reorganize itself around what cleared in your account at 2:11 p.m. on a Thursday. It is completely ordinary. You expected something. Not confetti. Not invincibility. Not some cinematic exhale after holding your breath for a decade. But something. Some signal from the universe. That the distance you traveled was real. That the relationship you didn't save. The funerals you almost missed. The 72 HAR payroll crisis in year 6. The rice. The parking garage in July that they added up to something the world would acknowledge. In some small quiet way, the world does not acknowledge it. You finish the glass, you rinse it, you put it in the drying rack. You walk back to your desk. You join the 3 o'clock call 2 minutes early. You say good afternoon to the 3 people already on the line. You open your laptop. You do the work. Because that is what you know how to do. And for a long time it is the only thing that still feels like solid ground by February. You have a security protocol, a PR firm on retainer. An assistant who manages a calendar so dense. Your own mother needs 2 days' notice to get 30 minutes. You are living inside a structure built to protect you. It does protect you, and on certain Tuesday mornings, it makes you feel like a very important thing, being stored in a very secure location. Thanksgiving comes. Your sister picks you up from the airport. In her 2014 Kia Sorento, cracked rear bumper. She has been meaning to fix it for 8 months. The heat in the back seat doesn't work on the passenger side. You sit up front, she plays a playlist from 2009, sings along without embarrassment. You watch her. You feel something you don't have a clean word for. Not pity, not nostalgia, something more complicated. Something between loving a person completely and knowing your daily reality and hers now exist on different planets. That happened to share a Thanksgiving table. The table itself is the same, slightly uneven, same as always. Someone has put a folded piece of cardboard under the short leg. The same solution your family used 30 years ago, when you notice it. You have to look away for a second. Your mom looks older, not dramatically. The specific kind of aging that happens when a person has carried low-grade financial stress for 40 years. And the carrying finally starts to show. You watch her check the price on whipped cream. Wednesday morning, she puts it back, checks it again, puts it in the cart. Grocery prices are up 22% from 5 years ago. You know this as a statistic. She knows it as a weight. You could write a check before dinner. And every financial concern she will ever have. You've thought about it. You've almost said it out loud 3 times. And stopped yourself each time. Because you know something. Money given wrong doesn't just help. It restructures a relationship in ways that can't be undone. It changes what she is to you, and what you are to her. You are terrified of losing the version of her that existed before the wire cleared. So you pay for the groceries. Just the groceries. She says you didn't have to do that. You say it is nothing. You both know it is not nothing. Neither of you says anything else about it. Back home, your 3 closest friends from your 20s. They're deep into a different life. Marcus is a high school basketball coach, daughter in 2nd grade. Mortgage he refinanced last year at 6.8%. Weekends that actually belong to him. Priya just made partner, bought a house in the suburbs. Talking about a second kid. Devin is between jobs, stressed about it. In the specific way you used to be stressed. Before the stress became something else entirely. They are not going anywhere. Neither are you. But the space between where you all started and where you each landed has become so wide that sometimes dinner feels like a phone call with bad reception. You can hear each other. You are just not quite connecting. You stop getting invited to certain things, not because anyone is angry, because your presence now requires consideration. It didn't used to. People wonder what to wear, where to go, whether to split the bill, or let you cover it. And whether letting you cover it changes something. The logistics of your friendship have become a thing people have to think about. And people stop doing things they have to think about too hard. You are 35. You are the wealthiest person anyone in your life has ever personally known. And you have never felt further from the people who knew you when you had nothing. That is not a complaint. It is just the weight of it. And nobody prepared you for how much it would actually weigh. In January, you buy a house in Nashville. Not a compound, not a statement, just a house with a porch, a yard, enough distance from the calendar, the PR firm, the wealth management team, that you think maybe you can finally breathe at a normal rate. You take morning walks. You read books that have nothing to do with logistics, cap tables, market positioning. You sleep 8 hours for the first time in what feels like a decade, because it probably has been. You cook breakfast on Tuesdays. You sit on the porch in the afternoon, watch the light change. You think, ugh, this is what it feels like on the other side. This is the part where it gets quiet. The quiet lasts about 6 weeks. Nothing dramatic happens. It is more that you notice one morning over coffee. Your mind is already running, already calculating, already scanning for the inefficiency, the gap, the engine nobody else is paying attention to yet. You haven't opened the laptop, you are just sitting there with coffee, and the engine is running anyway, idling at a frequency you've had for so long you stopped hearing it as sound. The same way you stopped hearing the low hum in your childhood house. Gradually you see it. The engine was never about the money. The money was the metric, the proof it was working. But the engine itself was built much earlier, at a wobbly table on a Friday night, watching your dad absorb a defeat the system handed him, like it was inevitable, like it was just the way things were. The engine was built from that, from the specific cold thing in the chest of a 16-year-old, who decided very quietly that he was going to learn where the doors were. You solved the financial problem completely, permanently at a scale your 16-year-old self couldn't have imagined. But the engine that drove you there was never running on the money. It was running on something older, something that doesn't check your account balance, something that doesn't know the wire cleared, so you go back to work. Not because you have to, because the alternative is sitting with an engine that has no load, and that turns out to be its own kind of unbearable. But something is different now. It takes you a while to name it. What is different is this. You are not building for survival anymore. You are building from the starting line, because somewhere in the last decade, between the $3,400 and the parking garage in July the 72, or payroll crisis, the glass of water at 2:11 p.m. on a Thursday, you crossed a line. Your family has been standing in front of it for 3 generations. Crossing it means something specific. It means the kids, the nieces and nephews already here. Your sister's daughter, 7 years old. Your same eyes. No idea what a Pell Grant is. And probably never will. It means they start somewhere different. Not easier necessarily, but different. Higer, the coffee can is gone. Not literally. Your mom probably still has it somewhere. Empty, shoved to the back of a cabinet, but the function it served, the hiding place, the emergency reserve. The physical symbol of a family that didn't trust the system enough to put its money in one. That is gone. You replaced it, not with a conversation, not a lesson, not a piece of advice. With a fact, an irreversible structural change to what your family's baseline looks like. Right now, the median American household has less than $8,000 in liquid savings. The bottom 50% hold about 2.5% of total U.S. wealth. Those numbers are the water your family swam in for generations. Your kids will not swim in that water. They will look at an open sky and assume that is how the sky always looked. They will never know the ceiling was there because you made it the floor. That is not a small thing. That is the whole thing. And yet, you are 35, sitting on a porch in Nashville. The engine is running, and you don't know how to turn it off. You are not sure you are supposed to. You are not sure the 16-year-old at the wobbly table would even recognize a version of himself that could sit still. The engine that drove you here is the same engine that won't let you rest, and you can hold both of those things at once now. The gratitude and the exhaustion, the legacy and the loneliness. The open sky you built for the next generation. And the ceiling you still feel above your own head on certain mornings. Even though it isn't there anymore. The financial problem is solved. You just don't know what to do with the person who solved it. You will not remember the exact moment the wire cleared. That surprises you. You'll remember the man loading groceries into the SUV, the clean glass in the drying rack, the folded cardboard under the table leg at Thanksgiving, the small things, the weight they always carried. What you see now, sitting on this porch, is that the engine that drove you wasn't a problem to fix. It was the price of the ticket. You paid it across a decade, in hours, in relationships, in ordinary Thursdays that nobody will ever see, or name, or congratulate you for. Your kids will not pay that price. That was the point. But here on a Tuesday morning, with nowhere to be, and nothing urgent, you notice the engine is still running, still scanning, still looking for the next door. You gave them the open sky. You just don't know yet who you are. Without the ceiling,